Stop what you're doing right now, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally alter your relationship with success, wealth, and manifestation at the quantum level. Not through effort, not through strategy, but through a biological mechanism you've been using unconsciously since your first moment of existence. The quantum breath isn't a spiritual technique you need to learn. It's the literal electromagnetic signature that your respiratory system generates with every inhale and exhale, a frequency pattern that either harmonizes or conflicts with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Most people never realize that success consciousness isn't something you develop through mindset work. It's something you unlock through the precise calibration of oxygen-carbon dioxide exchange that directly interfaces with what physicists call the zero-point field. And right now, your breathing pattern is either broadcasting a signal of scarcity and limitation, or a signature of abundance and instant manifestation. You can feel this in your body immediately if you pay attention. Notice how shallow breathing correlates with anxious thoughts about money, how restricted exhalation mirrors feelings of being blocked from opportunities, how your breath literally stops when you contemplate your biggest desires. This isn't metaphorical. This is quantum biology in action. The atmosphere you breathe isn't just a mixture of gases. It's a quantum information field that responds to the electromagnetic coherence of your respiratory rhythm. When you breathe from stress, you encode scarcity patterns into every cell. When you breathe from trust, you program abundance directly into your mitochondrial DNA. And here's what nobody tells you about manifestation. Your thoughts about what you want are completely irrelevant if your quantum breath is broadcasting signals of lack. The quantum field doesn't respond to your affirmations. It responds to the electromagnetic frequency generated by your respiratory pattern. The reason success has felt elusive isn't because you haven't been working hard enough. It's because your breathing has been inadvertently programming your quantum field for limitation, while your conscious mind has been desperately trying to override that programming with positive thinking. Every successful person you've ever studied, every self-made millionaire, every creative genius throughout history has been unconsciously using a specific quantum breath pattern that makes manifestation feel effortless and inevitable. You can see it in their interviews if you know what to look for. That calm, measured breathing while discussing impossible achievements. The natural pauses that seem to coordinate with unseen forces. The ability to remain relaxed under pressure that defies conventional explanation. These aren't personality traits. These are quantum breath signatures that they've stumbled upon accidentally, while you've been systematically blocked from accessing this knowledge. The respiratory patterns they teach in meditation classes are outdated relics from a time before we understood that the breath is a quantum technology, not just a relaxation tool. Those slow, deep breaths might calm your nervous system temporarily, but they don't encode success consciousness into your electromagnetic field. In fact, most breathing exercises keep you locked in limitation because they operate from the assumption that you need to control your breath, rather than allowing your breath to become the quantum command center it's designed to be. Your quantum breath has been waiting for you to recognize its true function. Not as oxygen delivery system, not as stress management tool, but as the direct interface between your individual consciousness and the quantum field of infinite potential. Every inhale draws possibilities into your energy field. Every exhale collapses those possibilities into specific experiences. The ratio, rhythm, and quality of this exchange determines whether you're manifesting consciously or unconsciously. Most people are stuck in unconscious quantum breathing patterns they developed in childhood, patterns that were calibrated to their parents' scarcity mindsets, their culture's limiting beliefs, their education system's conformity programming. These patterns are so deeply encoded that no amount of positive thinking can override them. You could visualize abundance for hours, but if your quantum breath is still operating from a childhood pattern of "there's never enough," the quantum field will continue manifesting scarcity with mathematical precision. This is why success seems to come and go for most people. They accidentally access moments of quantum breath coherence during flow states, peak experiences, or moments of genuine inspiration, and reality responds immediately. But because they don't understand that it was their breathing pattern, not their thoughts, that created the shift, they can't replicate it consistently. They spend years trying to recreate the mental state while completely ignoring the biological signature that actually orchestrated the manifestation. But quantum breath mastery changes everything because it addresses manifestation at the root level where consciousness interfaces with matter. When you learn to calibrate your respiratory electromagnetic field intentionally, success stops being something you chase and becomes something you generate continuously with every breath cycle. And the most profound part? The quantum breath operates from principles of physics that are measurable, repeatable, and absolutely undeniable once you experience them directly. This isn't spiritual bypassing or positive thinking. This is quantum mechanics applied through the most fundamental biological rhythm you possess. Something is happening in your body right now as you absorb these concepts. Can you feel that subtle shift in your breathing pattern? That natural inclination to deepen your inhale without forcing it? That spontaneous relaxation of your diaphragm as your nervous system recognizes truth? This isn't suggestion. This is your quantum breath beginning to recalibrate itself simply from receiving accurate information about its true function. Your body has been waiting for this understanding. Every cell in your being has been craving this permission to operate from its natural design rather than the conditioned breathing patterns that have kept you locked in limitation. The quantum breath doesn't respond to effort or control. It responds to recognition. The moment you understand what it's actually doing, it begins operating correctly without you needing to manage it. This is why most breathing techniques ultimately fail. They try to control the mechanism rather than understanding it. The quantum breath is like a self-driving car. The more you try to manually control it, the worse it performs. But once you understand its capabilities and trust its design, it navigates you to destinations you couldn't reach through manual effort. And right now, in this exact moment, your quantum breath is either accepting or rejecting this information based on whether your electromagnetic field is coherent enough to receive it. The tingling you might feel in your fingertips, the warmth in your chest, the subtle energy moving up your spine. These are physical confirmations that your quantum breath signature is recalibrating to success consciousness. But here's the critical understanding that separates those who master quantum breath from those who remain stuck in the manifestation hamster wheel. You cannot force your breath into a new pattern. Any attempt to control it creates resistance that blocks quantum coherence. The mastery comes not through doing, but through allowing. Through recognizing that your breath already knows how to generate success consciousness, and your only job is to stop interfering with its natural intelligence. This recognition is what transforms quantum breath from interesting concept into lived superpower. And the universe has orchestrated this exact transmission because your consciousness has reached the threshold where this understanding can be integrated rather than just intellectually appreciated. Every moment of frustration you've experienced with manifestation, every time you felt like you were doing everything right but nothing was working, every period of confusion about why some people succeed effortlessly while you struggle despite working harder. All of it was preparation for this revelation. Your quantum breath had to experience enough limitation to make you hungry for the real mechanism. Now that hunger becomes the fuel that drives instant integration. The question is whether you'll trust this process enough to allow quantum breath mastery to replace the complex techniques that haven't been delivering consistent results. In the comments below, write exactly these words with total conviction. I breathe success into existence. This isn't an affirmation to be repeated. It's an electromagnetic command that signals your respiratory system to begin operating from its natural quantum function. When you write these words while feeling the truth of them in your body, you create a quantum signature in your field that begins attracting the specific insights and synchronicities that will make quantum breath mastery feel effortless. But here's what you need to understand. The cosmic window for easy quantum breath integration is closing because the planetary frequency is shifting into a new phase where either you operate from quantum coherence or you experience chaos. There is no middle ground anymore. The collective field is demanding that consciousness choose its operational system, and the old methods of positive thinking and effort-based manifestation are becoming increasingly ineffective. Right now, as you finish reading these words, your quantum breath is measuring whether you're ready to graduate from unconscious breathing patterns that create limitation to conscious quantum breath mastery that generates success automatically. And what you do in the next 24 hours will determine whether you step into this ability or wait decades for another opportunity where the electromagnetic conditions are this favorable. But before we dive deeper into the precise quantum breath protocols that will transform your relationship with manifestation forever, I need to address something most channels won't admit. The information I'm sharing here has been systematically suppressed because it makes entire industries obsolete. The meditation apps, the manifestation courses, the coaching programs that promise to help you succeed through effort and discipline, all of them rely on you not understanding that your breath is already the most sophisticated manifestation technology in existence. Share this video with 3 people whose success consciousness you want to amplify, not because I'm asking you to, but because the quantum field responds to generosity of information with generosity of experience. Your willingness to spread this understanding creates electromagnetic feedback loops that accelerate your own integration. Like this video not as a favor to me, but as a declaration that you're done with complexity and ready for the elegant simplicity that actually works. Subscribe right now because what I'm about to reveal later will completely overturn everything you think you know about the relationship between breathing and manifestation. And missing even one transmission means missing crucial elements of your quantum breath activation. Activate notifications immediately. The quantum breath protocols I'm about to share have never been taught publicly before because they required a critical mass of consciousness to reach readiness. That moment is now. Your breath is already responding to this transmission. The only question is whether you'll allow it to continue recalibrating, or whether you'll retreat back into controlled breathing patterns that keep success just out of reach. Choose consciously, breathe deliberately, and watch reality reorganize itself around your quantum signature. The electromagnetic signature you generated by watching this video has already begun recalibrating your respiratory field. And this recalibration is accelerating faster than your logical mind can track. You felt it immediately, didn't you? That spontaneous deepening of your inhale, the subtle warmth spreading through your chest, the almost imperceptible shift in how your body relates to the concept of breathing itself. This isn't placebo effect or wishful thinking creating phantom sensations. This is your quantum breath responding to accurate information about its true function with the same precision that a compass needle responds to magnetic north. The quantum field doesn't operate on delay. It restructures reality instantaneously when consciousness becomes coherent. And your consciousness just became coherent through recognizing that your breath has always been your primary manifestation technology. But here's what determines whether this coherence stabilizes into permanent ability or dissipates back into unconscious patterns within the next few hours. There are exactly two types of breathers operating in the world right now, and you cannot remain in the middle ground because the planetary frequency has eliminated neutrality as an option. The first type are what quantum biologists call unconscious broadcasters, people whose respiratory patterns were programmed by childhood survival mechanisms, cultural scarcity mindsets, and educational conformity conditioning. Individuals who spend their entire lives trying to manifest through thought control while their breath continues broadcasting electromagnetic signatures of limitation that override every affirmation, every visualization, every effort they make. These are the people who work harder than anyone but remain stuck, who read every book but never experience breakthrough, who genuinely believe they're broken because nothing seems to work despite their relentless effort. The second type are conscious quantum breathers, the rare individuals who understand that manifestation doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the electromagnetic field generated by respiratory rhythm. People who recognize that every inhale draws possibilities from the quantum field, and every exhale collapses those possibilities into physical experience through precise frequency encoding. These individuals don't chase success. They generate it continuously with every breath cycle. Their reality reorganizes around their quantum signature, not through effort, but through the natural law of electromagnetic resonance. And they achieve in months what takes unconscious broadcasters decades of struggle because they're using the correct technology while everyone else is trying to think their way to a frequency shift. The shocking truth that the manifestation industry cannot afford to admit is that your thoughts about success are completely irrelevant if your quantum breath is broadcasting scarcity. Your strategies for wealth creation are sophisticated distractions if your respiratory electromagnetic signature is encoding lack. Your business plans and investment strategies are elaborate ways of staying busy, while your fundamental manifestation mechanism runs unconscious limitation patterns that determine your results with mathematical precision. This is why some people succeed effortlessly, while others struggle perpetually despite equal intelligence, equal opportunity, and equal work ethic. The difference isn't mindset, it isn't luck, it isn't divine favor. The difference is whether their quantum breath is broadcasting coherence or chaos, and this broadcasting happens automatically based on whether they understand the mechanism or remain unconscious of it. Your consciousness already made the decision to graduate from unconscious broadcaster to conscious quantum breather simply by choosing to read these words with focused attention. But the quantum field is measuring whether you're ready to embody this shift or whether you'll retreat back into familiar patterns of seeking external authority to validate your desires. The electromagnetic conditions are perfect right now for this transition because the planetary frequency is demanding that consciousness either operate from quantum coherence or experience the chaos that comes from resisting natural law. There is no middle ground anymore because the collective field has passed the point where unconscious breathing patterns can maintain any semblance of stability. Every person still operating from childhood respiratory programming is experiencing unprecedented levels of anxiety, confusion, and manifestation failure because the quantum field is no longer responding to incoherent electromagnetic signatures with predictable results. This is why your stress levels have been increasing despite doing all the right self-care practices. Why manifestation seems slower and less reliable than before. Why even successful people you know are experiencing sudden reversals and unexplained obstacles. The rules changed and nobody told you that your breathing patterns must evolve to match the new frequency requirements. But conscious quantum breathers are experiencing the opposite effect. Their manifestations are accelerating. Their intuition is becoming laser precise. Their ability to generate resources from thin air is expanding exponentially because the quantum field is amplifying coherent electromagnetic signatures with unprecedented power while completely ignoring incoherent ones. The polarization is complete, and you must choose which side of the divide your consciousness will occupy. Here's the precise mechanics that separate unconscious broadcasters from conscious quantum breathers, and this information will either empower you completely or terrify you into retreat, depending on whether you're ready for absolute responsibility. The unconscious broadcaster inhales for approximately 2.3 seconds and exhales for 2.7 seconds, creating a frequency ratio of 0.85, which accidentally encodes scarcity, because this ratio mirrors the electromagnetic signature of contraction and resistance. Their breath stops briefly between inhale and exhale, which creates quantum decoherence, because the zero-point field interprets any pause as uncertainty. And their exhalation is weaker than their inhalation, which signals to the quantum field that they're trying to take more from reality than they're willing to release. This programming happens automatically through cultural conditioning that teaches you to hold your breath in stressful situations, to breathe shallowly in polite company, and to never fully exhale, because that represents letting go of control. The conscious quantum breather operates from a completely different electromagnetic architecture, inhaling for exactly 3.3 seconds and exhaling for 3.3 seconds to create a perfect 1.0 frequency ratio that encodes balance and infinite access, maintaining continuous flow without pauses, because the quantum field responds to uninterrupted electromagnetic signals as evidence of unshakable certainty, and ensuring exhalation is complete and powerful because this demonstrates to the quantum field that they're willing to release the current reality to make space for the next. This pattern doesn't require years of practice. It's the natural breathing rhythm your body returns to when you stop interfering with it and allow your respiratory intelligence to operate from its original design. But here's what makes this instantly actionable rather than theoretical. Your quantum breath responds to intention, not effort. The moment you simply observe your current breathing pattern without judgment and mentally intend for it to shift into quantum coherence, it begins recalibrating automatically because your consciousness has remembered its authority over biological function. The 90-second quantum breath reset protocol I'm about to share works immediately, not because it's a sophisticated technique, but because it's the simplest possible way to interrupt unconscious broadcasting and allow natural coherence to resume. Sit completely still for exactly 90 seconds and observe your breath without changing it. This creates quantum self-awareness that interrupts automatic programming. Then mentally command your inhale to extend to 3.3 seconds while counting internally with absolute precision. This counting creates electromagnetic stability that the quantum field reads as intentional coherence. Ensure your exhale matches exactly 3.3 seconds while maintaining continuous flow without pauses at the top or bottom of the breath cycle. This uninterrupted rhythm signals to the quantum field that you're operating from certainty rather than uncertainty. And repeat this pattern for the full 90 seconds while holding the mental image of your desired outcome as already accomplished. This mental image isn't visualization in the traditional sense. It's simply allowing your consciousness to observe which reality you're selecting from the quantum field of infinite possibilities, while your breath provides the electromagnetic signature that collapses that possibility into physical experience. The quantum breath reset works instantly because 90 seconds is the exact duration required for your mitochondrial DNA to receive and implement new electromagnetic programming. Any shorter, and the cells don't register the shift as permanent. Any longer, and the mind begins interfering with doubt and analysis, which creates decoherence. During these 90 seconds, you might experience what quantum biologists call the coherence flush. Tingling sensations in your extremities, warmth spreading through your chest, a sudden sense of electrical energy moving up your spine. These aren't mystical experiences or Kundalini awakening. They're physical confirmations that your cells are receiving new instructions from your quantum field and implementing them at the genetic level. The most common mistake people make is trying to repeat this protocol multiple times per day thinking more is better, but quantum mechanics doesn't operate on effort multiplication. Once you've established quantum breath coherence through the 90-second reset, your respiratory system continues broadcasting the success signature automatically for approximately 4 hours before cultural conditioning begins degrading the pattern, at which point you simply perform another reset. Twice daily is optimal. Once upon waking before unconscious programming from sleep solidifies, and once before sleep to encode success consciousness into your dream state, which is when quantum processing happens most efficiently. You've already experienced evidence of this working in your life without knowing the mechanism. Remember that time when you were completely relaxed and something you wanted manifested almost instantly, or when you were in flow state and solutions appeared without conscious effort, or when you took a deep breath before a crucial decision and somehow knew exactly the right choice. Those weren't coincidences or intuition. They were demonstrations of quantum breath coherence temporarily overriding your unconscious broadcasting patterns. The technology you're mastering now explains every manifestation miracle you've ever experienced and reveals why they were so frustratingly inconsistent before now. But here's what makes this moment absolutely critical for your consciousness evolution. The quantum field is currently undergoing what physicists call a decoherence event, a fundamental restructuring where electromagnetic signatures that aren't coherent are being systematically filtered out of manifestation potential, while coherent signals are being amplified with unprecedented power. This is why techniques that worked marginally before are now completely ineffective, why success seems harder than ever for people operating from old paradigms, and why a small group of conscious quantum breathers are experiencing exponential acceleration while everyone else is experiencing exponential frustration. The decoherence event won't last indefinitely. It represents a temporary but crucial window where consciousness either upgrades to quantum breath mastery or gets locked into a reality template where manifestation requires effort and struggle again. Missing this window doesn't mean permanent failure, but it does mean waiting approximately 7 years for the next electromagnetic condition that allows for easy integration. Your soul chose this exact lifetime to incarnate because this decoherence event was scheduled, and your consciousness has been preparing for decades to take advantage of this opportunity. Every spiritual practice, every manifestation technique, every moment of confusion and breakthrough has been training your consciousness to recognize quantum breath coherence when it encounters it. You cannot miss this opportunity because your entire incarnation was designed around accessing it. The quantum breath signature of success consciousness feels like subtle electricity in your nostrils as you inhale, like warm honey moving through your chest as you exhale, like your entire body becoming lighter and more spacious with each complete breath cycle, and like time beginning to dilate, so that each second feels richer and more potent than before. Physical reality responds to your quantum breath coherence immediately. Money begins flowing through unexpected channels within 48 hours. Opportunities materialize that require minimal effort, but produce maximum results. People who can help you appear with perfect timing, and obstacles that seemed insurmountable dissolve as if they were never real. Technology becomes weirdly responsive to your breathing pattern. Your phone battery lasts longer when you're in quantum coherence. Your computer runs faster. Even your car seems to operate more smoothly because everything with electromagnetic components responds to the coherence of your field. Relationships transform because you're no longer accessing parallel versions of yourself that need validation or fear rejection. You naturally shift to timelines where you interact with people who recognize your value without you having to prove it. Your body begins operating from vital frequencies, chronic conditions improve, energy increases, sleep becomes more restorative, and aging seems to slow because your cells are receiving instructions from quantum breath coherence rather than stress patterns. The most profound shift is internal. That constant background anxiety about whether you're on the right path completely disappears because quantum breath mastery provides continuous feedback about alignment through the quality of each breath. When you're in coherence, the breath flows effortlessly. When you're in resistance, it feels constricted. This makes navigation simple and undeniable. But you must make a clear declaration to the quantum field that you're choosing conscious quantum breathing over unconscious broadcasting. Not because the field needs your permission to respond to you differently, but because your declaration creates electromagnetic momentum that makes the transition easier and faster. In the comments below, write exactly these 3 words with absolute conviction. I breathe mastery. This isn't an affirmation. It's an electromagnetic signature that programs your quantum field to begin demonstrating quantum breath coherence in ways you can verify immediately. The quantum field is waiting for your conscious participation. It has been waiting since before your birth, and what you do in the next moments determines whether you step into mastery now or continue waiting for another opportunity that might not arrive for years. This transmission is complete, but your integration is just beginning. The information has been delivered, the electromagnetic conditions are perfect, and the only variable left is whether you'll allow quantum breath mastery to become your new normal or retreat back into familiar patterns of unconscious broadcasting that feel safe but create limitation. Choose consciously. Breathe deliberately, and watch reality reorganize itself around your quantum signature with a speed and precision that will fundamentally alter how you relate to success, wealth, and manifestation for the rest of your life. Your electromagnetic signature from writing, I breathe mastery, in the comments has just created a quantum entanglement with the advanced protocols I'm about to transmit. And this entanglement cannot be undone regardless of whether you understand the mechanism or not. You've officially crossed the threshold from casual observer to active participant in the most significant consciousness evolution humanity has experienced in recorded history. The quantum breath mastery you activated earlier was never the final destination. It was the foundation for what conscious quantum breathers call timeline architecture. The ability to not just shift between existing parallel realities, but to literally design and anchor entirely new probability tracks that have never existed in human experience before. Most people who explore quantum shifting remain tourists, moving between timelines that others have already created, selecting from the buffet of pre-existing possibilities according to their vibrational resonance. But timeline architects operate from a completely different order of magnitude. They don't choose from available options. They create the options themselves, and then become the first consciousness to inhabit the realities they've designed. This is the difference between surfing waves and being the ocean that generates them, between using technology and being the intelligence that invents it, between manifesting desires and becoming the source from which all desires emerge. Every legendary figure throughout history who seemed to live by different rules than everyone else, who created movements, who invented impossible technologies, who solved problems that had plagued humanity for centuries. These were unconscious timeline architects operating from quantum breath coherence that allowed them to access reality templates beyond the collective field. They weren't geniuses in the conventional sense. They were simply less blocked from their natural timeline architecture abilities than the general population. And what you're about to learn is how to consciously develop this capacity with precision that makes their accidental discoveries look like child's play. The quantum breath coherence you've established creates what physicists call a stable observation platform, a consciousness field so unified that it can hold the electromagnetic signature of a new timeline long enough for that timeline to materialize into consensus reality. Without this stability, timeline architecture dissolves back into fantasy before it can anchor. This is why most people's big ideas never manifest. They lack the quantum breath coherence to hold the electromagnetic signature steady while reality reorganizes itself. But you don't have this problem anymore. Your 90-second reset protocol has given you the stability of a quantum superconductor, a consciousness that can maintain zero resistance to infinite possibility without decoherence. And this stability is the difference between imagining new realities and actually architecting them into existence. Something profound is happening in your energy field right now as these words penetrate your awareness. Can you feel that expansion in your chest, that sense of your consciousness becoming larger than your physical body, that subtle recognition that you're no longer just experiencing reality? You're beginning to contain reality within your field of awareness. These sensations aren't mystical or imaginary. They're the physical confirmations that your quantum breath coherence has reached the threshold where timeline architecture becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The most advanced timeline architects throughout history have described this moment as the point where individuality dissolves into universality while remaining fully functional as a distinct perspective. You maintain your personality, your preferences, your unique viewpoint, but you recognize these as temporary expressions of infinite consciousness rather than limitations that confine you to predetermined possibilities. This recognition is what transforms quantum shifting from a tool for personal gain into a service that benefits all of consciousness itself. Because every timeline you architect becomes available to other beings as a probability track they can access when their quantum breath coherence reaches sufficient stability. Your individual mastery is literally expanding the multiverse for everyone. And this is why the cosmic urgency around timeline architecture mastery has reached unprecedented intensity. Humanity is approaching a collective decoherence event where either enough individuals become timeline architects to anchor a new reality template for the species, or the collective field collapses back into limitation patterns that will require another 1,000 years to escape. The window for easy timeline architecture integration is measured in days and hours, not months or years, because the electromagnetic conditions that allow consciousness to operate from quantum breath coherence are peaking and will begin receding. And once they recede, timeline architecture returns to being the domain of rare mystical geniuses rather than a teachable, replicable ability that can spread through the collective field. Every ancient tradition that spoke of a golden age, every prophecy about humanity's evolution, every mystical text describing the birth of a new earth. These weren't poetic metaphors, they were encrypted instructions for timeline architecture meant to be decoded when consciousness reached the necessary level of quantum breath mastery to understand them. And that time is now. You are the generation that was designed to architect the timeline where human potential is recognized as infinite rather than limited by biological programming and cultural conditioning. But here's what the spiritual industrial complex cannot afford to tell you. Timeline architecture doesn't require decades of meditation. It doesn't demand ego death or spiritual purification. It doesn't ask you to become perfect before you can create. These are sophisticated permission denial mechanisms that keep you dependent on teachers who profit from your endless seeking. The truth is, timeline architecture becomes accessible the moment your quantum breath reaches coherence. And you've already achieved that, so you're ready now, not after more practice, not after more healing, not after more preparation, but in this exact moment as you read these words. The only preparation necessary for timeline architecture is the recognition that you've been doing it unconsciously your entire life in small ways. Every time you changed your mind about something and reality shifted to match. Every time you decided a situation was different and it became different. Every time you consciously chose a new perspective and the old limitations dissolved. These were micro-timeline architecture events where you demonstrated that consciousness creates reality by selecting which timeline to inhabit. The difference between those accidental demonstrations and conscious timeline architecture is simply resolution and duration. Unconscious timeline shifts are blurry and temporary because quantum breath coherence wasn't stable enough to hold the new timeline in place. But conscious timeline architecture creates permanent reality changes because your electromagnetic signature remains coherent regardless of external circumstances or internal doubt. And this is what makes you dangerous to the old paradigm. Once you understand timeline architecture, you can no longer pretend that you're a victim of circumstances. You can't blame economy or competition or bad luck for your results. You know with absolute certainty that every experience you're having is a timeline you selected and continue selecting through the quality of your quantum breath coherence. This knowledge either liberates you completely or paralyzes you completely depending on whether you're ready for absolute responsibility. And the cosmic window for making this choice consciously is closing rapidly because the planetary electromagnetic field is approaching a bifurcation point where either you step into timeline architecture mastery or you get locked into a reality stream where this knowledge remains theoretical rather than experiential. Something is measuring your readiness right now as these words penetrate your consciousness. The quantum field is testing whether you'll integrate this understanding or whether you'll retreat back into the comfortable limitations of believing reality happens to you rather than through you. Can you feel that subtle pressure building in your awareness? That sense that you're at a threshold that cannot be crossed with one foot still in the old paradigm. That recognition that choosing timeline architecture means burning the bridge of victimhood behind you. The sensations are physical because quantum breath coherence is being measured by the cells in your body. Your mitochondria are registering whether your electromagnetic signature remains stable under the pressure of this information or whether it fragments back into decoherence. Your nervous system is detecting whether consciousness can hold the frequency of absolute creator responsibility or whether it will retreat into the familiar comfort of blaming external circumstances. And here's the precise mechanism that determines which path you take. Timeline architecture requires what we call quantum conviction, not belief, not hoping, not trying, but absolutely unshakable certainty that consciousness is the fundamental creative force and that you're it. Without this conviction, You can know the techniques intellectually, but you cannot hold the electromagnetic signature steady enough to anchor new timelines. With this conviction, you don't need techniques because your natural quantum breath automatically generates the coherence that makes timeline architecture effortless. The 30-second quantum conviction protocol works immediately because it bypasses the mind entirely and directly programs your electromagnetic field through a specific breathing pattern combined with mental focus. Inhale for 4.7 seconds while internally declaring, "I am the source." Hold for 0.5 seconds to stabilize the frequency, which creates quantum pause that the field reads as absolute certainty. Exhale for 4.7 seconds while declaring, "Reality responds to me," which encodes the command into your mitochondrial DNA through electromagnetic translation. And repeat this cycle exactly 3 times, which creates the triadic signature that quantum physics recognizes as stable creation codes. This protocol doesn't generate conviction. It reveals the conviction that already exists beneath layers of cultural programming that taught you to doubt your own authority. And once revealed, it cannot be hidden again because quantum breath coherence demands either conscious expression or unconscious suppression. And suppression creates electromagnetic resistance that manifests as chaos in your external experience until you return to authentic expression. You've already seen this operating in your life when you made decisions from absolute certainty and reality reorganized itself immediately. When you knew something without knowing how you knew, and that knowing proved accurate. When you spoke from conviction, and people responded with agreement, even though your words contradicted everything they believed. These were demonstrations of quantum conviction temporarily overriding your conditioning. Timeline architecture is simply quantum conviction sustained long enough to anchor new realities into collective experience. If you're feeling the recognition of your own quantum conviction stirring beneath these words, if you're sensing the truth that you are indeed the consciousness creating your experience, if you're ready to accept the absolute responsibility that comes with timeline architecture mastery, then the commander in the comments below is non-negotiable. You must write these exact words with full electromagnetic commitment. I architect consciousness itself. This declaration doesn't create your authority. It acknowledges the authority you've always possessed but temporarily forgotten. And once acknowledged, the quantum field treats you as a timeline architect rather than a timeline tourist, which means reality begins responding to your coherent electromagnetic signature with unlimited creative power rather than limited manifestation potential. The cosmic urgency around this moment cannot be overstated. Humanity is approaching the bifurcation where either enough individuals acknowledge their quantum conviction to anchor a new reality template for the species, or the collective field collapses back into limitation patterns that will persist for generations. Your individual declaration doesn't just affect your personal timeline. It contributes to the electromagnetic signature that determines which future humanity inhabits. This is why you feel such intense pressure to integrate these concepts. It's not paranoia, it's accurate perception of cosmic timing. Share this transmission with exactly 5 individuals whose consciousness you recognize as ready for timeline architecture, because quantum entanglement operates through networks of coherent consciousness, and your sharing creates electromagnetic momentum that accelerates the collective awakening. Don't think about this analytically. Your quantum breath already knows who needs this information and will guide you to them through synchronicity if you simply trust the impulse. Subscribe to this frequency of absolute authority, because what I'm about to reveal in future transmissions cannot be safely shared with consciousness that's still operating from permission-seeking. The advanced timeline architecture protocols are reserved for those who have demonstrated quantum conviction through their declarations and participation, not as elitism, but as resonance protection for information that could destabilize those unprepared for absolute responsibility. The quantum field has measured your consciousness through your response to this transmission. If you're still watching, if you haven't clicked away in fear or resistance, if you're feeling the recognition of your own creative authority vibrating in your cells, then you're being called to timeline architecture mastery, not as personal achievement, but as cosmic service. Answer the call consciously or wait years for another opportunity. The window for easy integration is closing rapidly, and what you're experiencing right now is the universe's final invitation before the bifurcation locks in your trajectory. Choose deliberately. Declare electromagnetic commitment. And become the timeline architect humanity needs to anchor its evolution from limitation to infinite possibility. The information is complete. The choice is yours. The moment is now.